Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rainy Nights, the segment of my YouTube channel where I interview other motor vloggers and motorcycle personalities. If you haven't been here before, I'm Rainy Rider. I like motorcycles, long walks at the buffet bar, and slow pulls on whiskey. Tonight, we have Jasmine Tai. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Tai. I'm originally from New Jersey. I'm currently living in Las Vegas. I ride a Kawasaki Vulcan S 650. That's my first motorcycle ever.
Cool. Well, that knocks out two of my questions. So we can get straight to usually we jump right into motorcycle questions, but I've got a different question for you tonight. So I
Okay.
saw I saw a video of you taking your snake for a walk in
Yes.
the desert.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if that's a question or not, but just tell us about that. That was I was like, what? Who takes a python for a walk in the desert? I know who. Jasmine does. So tell us about that. What were you doing?
First of all, like I love animals. I love snakes. I love dogs. I love cats. I love all different kinds of animals. I used to have a red tail Colombian boa, and we used to take him hiking with us with the dogs. And we would also like to leave him on the ground and let him crawl around, like feel different terrain, the sand, the dirt, also like little bushels and stuff and flowers and stuff. He would like to crawl through it and he would enjoy it. And like sometimes you'll see in like some of my YouTube videos, he was like crawling on my boot, on my hiking boot, and like trying to go up my leg. And he just loves like hanging out with the dogs and going out with nature. So we would take him along with us too. And every time like we would bring him and people would see him, they would be so surprised to see him out there because you don't really see a snake on a hike usually, unless it's like living out in the nature.
Unless it wants to kill you. Yeah. So that's different. So you live in Las Vegas now. Were you riding before you got to Las Vegas, or was this a new thing with your new freedom? Because
This was my new thing. When I was in Jersey, I wasn't as adventurous. I didn't really know many skills, honestly, when I was back in Jersey. I didn't even know how to swim back then. I learned how to swim in Vegas. I learned how to ride motorcycles out here. I also learned shooting as well in the desert, the
hold
Wild
on,
Wild
you
West.
learned to swim in the desert.
Oh well, I learned to swim in Vegas as well. As
I'm just
crazy as
joking.
that is, and it's crazy because I'm from, originally from Atlantic City area, and we're right by the beach, like 30 minutes. But I never really learned how to swim there. I actually learned in Vegas.
Well, it's funny how you can live next to something your entire life and you never want to see it. So when I lived in Chicago, I was there for 5 years. I lived right next to Six Flags Great America. Never went. And then
Ah,
later I moved down to Arkansas and it was a 5 hour drive to the closest Six Flags and we went like 4 or 5 times. So it's just weird how sometimes you'll have something so open to you and just kind of take it for granted. So
it's so true, though.
so right. All right. So if you guys got questions for us, we're going to go ahead and start with the questions. If you have questions for either of us, go ahead and put in the comments at Rainy Rider or at Jasmine Tai. Are you able to monitor the chat, or do you want me to take all the questions?
Um, can you take all the
I
questions
will
because
take the
I don't have
questions.
it pulled up?
All right.
Thank
So
you.
put at Rainy Rider and it'll glow, and I'll be able to look down and see it. If I missed your questions, just come back to me and ask again because this is going to start rolling. We're going to have fun. I do this for fun, not for profit, obviously. So just repeat the question again if I don't get to you. So my first question for you. So you live in the desert. It doesn't rain very much there, but it does get hot. So do you consider yourself a fair weather rider, or you don't care no matter what the weather is, you're going to get out and ride?
I think I'm a fair weather rider because I honestly avoid like rainy days or extremely windy days. I'll
Boo.
check like I'm like I know you're a rainy
That's fine.
rider. That's why I was like, dang, you're good. But like for me, I usually avoid it because I'm a new rider. It's gonna be almost 2 years for me in May this year of riding. So I'm a little more, hesitant when the weather isn't, you know, as good as it usually is. I try to avoid riding for my safety and the safety of others, honestly.
But you'll get better because you're still a new rider. You're kind of getting your legs under you, and yeah, I totally get that. You build up things slowly. You make your first day trip, then you make your first 6-hour trip out of the state. Then you make your first trip across country. Then you make your first, I'm just going to go adventuring and I'm just going to take off and not know where I'm going. And you come home a week later, with no plans. And that's how you just get, just kind of get sure in your own boots, I guess. So if you guys got your own, I see Angel Face Motor Rider wants to see other people's chats. If anybody's been to Forgotten Angels, um, Juice, if people put links in there, go ahead and approve the links or repost them where people can actually get to follow links. So I want you guys to get the whole experience here. I'm not here to just flaunt myself. I want you guys to enjoy your experience. So if you guys have a link to for Angel Face to see other Forgotten Angels links, throw them up there and she can watch them later. But hello to everyone in the chat. Let's see who we got in the chat today. Sick bastard, my brother, and he stole the motorcycle I wanted, but I still love him anyway. He got White Lightning. He won White Lightning from the camp out from last October's. He won one of the motorcycles, and it was just a badass motorcycle. And I wanted it so bad, so I'm faking being his friend where he'll let me ride the motorcycle. That's the only reason we're friends. Just
Congrats on him.
Just kidding. But so we got Journey with Jerry, My Pillion is in there, Loose Juice, Angel Face, 9 Wheels on 2 Wheels, Aussie T-Clocks, my buddy Chris, who, thank you, Chris. You know what you did. Thank you very much. I absolutely appreciate it. You make a world of difference to me. And who else is here? Roland with T-Bone going on here. Roland makes a bunch of good videos too. Follow his stuff. He makes some very thought-provoking videos, so follow him if you don't already. And who else? Jason Ghost. Jason Ghost just stepped in, also makes some pretty cool videos. And Julie Smith, my buddy. And Josh Harris just stepped in, who he's probably the worst part of a very good, successful duo. His wife is a good cook, and that's all that really matters. So if you don't follow Cooking Ash, his wife. So anyway, let's roll with this. All right. How did you get into motorcycles? I know we were talking earlier, but just how did you get into motorcycles?
I was at the dealership in town with one of my friends back then. He was about to get his motorcycle, his first motorcycle. And then I sat on a Kawasaki Vulcan S at the dealership, and it was black and orange color, like a Harley colorway. And I fell in love with the fit. I was like, wow, like I was sitting on it. I was like, oh my God, this feels so comfortable. I was like, so this is how it is. And then the next day, I found a used Kawasaki Vulcan S on OfferUp, and it only had 600 to 700 miles on it. And then I was like, oh my God, it was in my price range too, a really great deal. So I went and picked it up. And the guy that sold it to me, he said that his grandfather actually bought that bike for him before he passed away. And he was looking for a serious buyer. And a couple people had came before me to look at the motorcycle, and he said no. And I even offered him less than the other people were offering. I had to haggle a little bit. And he was like, I want to sell this to you, Jasmine. And he decided to actually sell the motorcycle to me. And at that time, I didn't have any motorcycle experience at all. So I bought it without even knowing how to ride. And then I signed up for the MSF course. But the next course was 3 months later. So the bike was sitting in the garage those 3 whole months. I was too scared to try to even bring it out or do anything with it. I didn't want to drop it. There was no crash bars on it at that time. So I was like, I'm going to be a good person and take the course and actually practice, and then I'll take my baby out on the road. So it took me like a while until I actually got to go on the bike after the course.
But when you know, you know. When you look at a bike and you absolutely fall in love with it and you're like, this is my life, you just know. And as a seller, I've sold a lot of motorcycles, and I've had people come and look at it, and I just didn't get a feel for them, and I almost just kind of started talking the bike down, hoping they wouldn't buy it. But then I've had people come and look at the bike, and they absolutely fell in love with it, and I said, you know what? Take it. Yeah, you want to lowball me? Take it, because I want to see you on this bike. So I'm sure that's probably how this guy felt when he said he saw you so excited, and he said. I mean, anybody who really loves motorcycles, if you're a dealer, that's one thing. If you really love motorcycles and you've got a bike that you have loved and that's been good to you, and somebody shows up and you can tell they have that passion in their eye and they really want a motorcycle and they really love this motorcycle, you're more likely to say, you know what, us take a couple $100 off. Let's take $500 off because I want to see you on this motorcycle. Because I'd rather see it go to a good home. It's like giving away a puppy. I mean,
Yeah.
would you give a puppy away to somebody who you didn't think was going to treat it with love and respect? Motorcycles are
Definitely
the same
not.
way. I mean, they become your babies. You've been riding 2 years. How do you feel about that motorcycle, man? It becomes part of you.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it so much. Like anytime, like I've dropped it once, right in front of my parents' house. One time I was doing a U-turn and then I was like, it was a little tight for me, and I dropped it and I was like, ah, like I felt it in my heart, you know? It's like like it's like a baby getting dropped, you know? I love my motorcycle and I'm so grateful that he sold it to me because I know it held a lot of sentimental value since it was from his grandfather,
Oh
but
yeah.
he was ready to upgrade and get something a little faster for him. So I'm grateful he let it go to me.
Well, that's actually a very cool story, and it's always better when there's a cool story behind the motorcycle. So, what made you decide? I think I'm gonna get a motorcycle. I'm gonna start looking at motorcycles because that's just my thing.
It was so random, honestly, you know, because when I was younger, I always loved motorcycles and stuff like that, but I never was like close with anyone that had one. And then one time when I went to Beijing, I was studying abroad, and my friend from college, he lived in Beijing, and he had a roommate, and she was like a older woman, not too much older, but older than me at that time, and she had a motorcycle and she was riding it around Beijing, and I was so inspired. I was like, wow, she's so badass to be riding that big bike, you know, around China. And I was just like, whoa. But I never thought, I never pictured myself actually riding myself.
But you did,
I don't regret it.
and now
I'm
here
so
you are.
grateful.
All right. So on a day that the weather's good, what inspires you to get out and ride? What makes you go? Well, I could sit home and watch chick flicks all day, and I could make popcorn, and I could hang around the house, or I could go out and ride. What makes you determine? What makes you decide you're going to go out and ride that day?
For me, I love creating content. I love creating videos with my motorcycle. So that definitely pushes me a lot. I got a new camera, the Insta 360, the X3. So I've been using that more now, and I love like how it can capture every angle. I love making like videos on YouTube, no matter what it's about. You know, I love doing all different kind of hobbies on YouTube, but I really, really enjoy recording my motorcycle rides. That's like brings me a lot of joy, and I love to like watch back on my old rides and stuff and my old trips, and you know, relive those moments again because we only get that moment once, like in the present. So it's nice to be able to like look back and watch all those old memories years later still.
Oh, I agree. I was looking for some videos from Forgotten Angels, and one of mine popped up back from before I had any editing software or nothing. I had a GoPro, and I was using GoPro Run software, and I made just these cheesy videos. But I was looking at it and watching them. That all those feelings of I'm making a video and I'm doing these things and everything's cool starts coming back to you. And I watched the first video where I drove down to Forgotten Angels, and I was so excited because we were going down to Forgotten Angels, and my wife was in the back, and we seeing all these trees, and you could smell the flowers, and it was like you relive all that stuff. It's like it's better than a picture album because you're hearing
Mm-hmm.
yourself and you can hear the excitement in your voice, and it's just it brings everything back full force. Sometimes even better because you've lived since then, and things you may have missed back then, you're reliving now. So it's so much fun.
I love it. I love your videos, by the way. Everyone, check out his videos
Yeah,
from
people,
Forgotten
check out my
Angels.
videos. It is a lot of fun to relive your stuff, and that's why I started the channel. I mean, just because I wanted to remember things. I wanted my kids to see how cool I was before I got old and grumpy.
Yeah.
So it's too cool. All right, would you rather ride in a group or would you rather ride solo?
um, for me, I enjoy both. I've been riding more solo lately, but I really do enjoy riding in groups. It's always a lot of fun to, you know, get with a couple of friends and go around to like a spot that you've never been to with your motorcycle and stuff. That's always like super fun to me. Hopefully this year I can do a little more group rides again. So I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah. Um, I saw one of your, actually one of the pictures you sent me for a thumbnail, and I saw that you had your hair in these pigtails, braids, and you were all sweaty and you were dirty, but you look so happy. And you're in the middle of a can. I think there's a
Yeah.
canyon behind you, but you look so happy though. And that's so. Tell us how you were feeling about. You obviously had done a long ride that day.
That was when I went to Zion with a couple people that I met at a random gas station in town. This guy approached me and he had a bunch of other friends with him. And then we had started talking. And then later weeks, they invited me to go to Zion with them. And that was the longest ride I've ever been to with my motorcycle. It was like almost 3 hours one way and then 3 hours back as well. So it was very out of my comfort zone, but it really like gave me more confidence that I can do like longer trips. Because before that, I only did like an hour and a half one way and then an hour and a half back. But I was like, wow, like I did a 3 hour trip almost like just one way. So I feel like I can go more places now after that. So hopefully this year I'll do more long distance trips. I'm not sure if I can go all the way to Tampa though from
Yet,
here because that's like
yet,
over 2,600 miles or something
yeah.
crazy like
That
that. I
that's
was
at least four
calculating
days.
yesterday.
Yeah, one of my friends, Gma rides. She rides from Portland, and she didn't hurry. She took
Wow.
about 300 or 400 miles a day, and she just drove, and she would stop somewhere and eat and look at the scenery and look at the local tourist attractions. Stay in a hotel, a little cheapy hotel, and ride out the next day. And she was gone for I think like almost 3 weeks, but she enjoyed it. I
Wow.
mean, but that's when you really enjoy yourself. You're not rushing. You're just seeing the sights, and you really enjoy it. But if you just stick to the easy stuff, stick to these 30-minute trips, 1 hour trips, you never grow.
Yeah.
And I've seen from your channel, you're a very spiritual type person. You're into
Mhm.
growth and new experiences and new things. And
Yep.
that's how you. I mean, if you always did the easy stuff, you'd never get out of your comfort zone. You'd be bored. And so I've seen you get out there, you do stuff, you go places, you have been places. So, oh yeah,
You know what I live by is I saw this from a motivational speaker online, and she was like, feel the fear and do it anyway. And that's what I always remind myself when I start to get nervous or scared about certain activity or doing something. I always just remind myself, feel the fear and do it anyway, because I'll never be perfect at whatever I do, but just know that I'll be safe when I'm doing it and stuff, and just try. That's all you can do, just keep trying.
yeah. That's so in the military. That's also the definition of bravery. Bravery is not the absence of fear. Bravery is being afraid and doing it anyway.
Hmm.
So yeah, you're on the right track, man. You're gonna go places. You're gonna have so much
Oh,
fun in
thank
this world.
you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're gonna do this. You guys got some questions? Throw them down in the comments.
Give
All
us
right.
the questions.
So do you do a lot of meetups where you decide you're gonna ride to a bike night or somebody's they're gonna meet somewhere? What's your favorite one you've ever done?
I think my favorite is when we went to Zion. That meetup was the best because it was something that was so out of my comfort zone, like I said earlier. And it was just such a new experience. And I was like, wow, I'm taking my bike from Vegas to Utah, basically. And I was like, wow, this is like something I can do. So after that trip, it gave me way more confidence to take my bike even more out in town in Vegas, because I was telling Michael that in Vegas there's a lot of bad drivers. You can be the best, rider ever, but the people around you are kind of crazy and stuff like that. So it kind of gave me that trip gave me a lot more confidence in myself to go more on my motorcycle and not to just keep it in the garage all the time.
So Angel Face had a question based on that. Would you ride back in the streets of Jersey?
I would. Jersey is actually like where I was from. I was from Egg Harbor Township, and I feel like those roads were pretty chill and not as busy as in Vegas. But Vegas is way more populated than my old hometown in Jersey. I totally would ride there. I wish I had a bike back then there.
Oh, yeah, reliving your life. Never regret anything. It's funny. You don't regret things you've done. You regret things that you didn't get to do. And
Yeah.
that's why I think people go through midlife crises. It's not because they feel like they just want to break out. People go through midlife crises because they find themselves all of a sudden in a point in their life, and they look back and they go, I've missed doing so many things. I said no so many times. I should have said yes. And that's what makes people do these crazy things. You know, here I am. I'm in my 50s and I've done so much, and I don't have any regrets. There's just so many more things that I want to do. You know, and I think once you do things and you know you can do things, you don't regret. Now you have
No.
expectation. You just want to do more things. So it's, yeah, live the dream, do the thing. Like to say, buy the bike, do the thing.
Yeah, because while we have our health, and stuff, and the ability to do these things, because once we're older and we're like on our, little carts and stuff, we can't, experience the same things freely as we do now. That's why, like, I would love to travel more and see more of the world now because, once you get older, you just don't have that freedom and health and strength to do all of those things.
So where have you been? I know you've been to a lot of places. So what's your favorite place? I guess we can say we've already talked about where you've been on a motorcycle. Where's your favorite place you've ever been?
My favorite place I've ever been is not by motorcycle, but by a cruise. I went to Bahamas. This was like in spring break when I was in college, way back um, a while ago. But that was one of my favorite trips ever. I had never been on a cruise before that, and that's my only cruise I've been on so far. But it's one of my most memorable trips. I loved it. I had a great time with my roommate at the time there, and I didn't know how to swim that time too. So I remember like I tried to go scuba diving, and I had all the equipment and stuff on, but then like after 10 minutes I got so much like anxiety. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go back on the boat. I have to go back. I have to go back. So then I got some footage with my GoPro of like the fish and stuff. And then I was like, okay, I'm going back to the boat. And then I just hung out with the captain.
No, too cool. Yeah, I love scuba diving. I haven't been since I got out of the Navy. That was the best thing I think about the Navy was you just got to do so many things and go places and enjoy things without having to pay for the airfare and for the boat, tickets. But yeah, do all the things. Too
Now I
cool.
know how to swim. So I think the next cruise will be better.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so you've only been on a bike for 2 years. So what is the stupidest thing you have ever done on a motorcycle?
Oh man. I remember this like it's yesterday. It was when I was on a dirt bike, and it was like my first time, like first few times or first time riding a dirt bike, and I had just crushed these trails. Like I have it on my YouTube channel of me going through these like little hills and stuff in Vegas. And then once I finished the trail, I was riding to like the parking area, and there was some gravel, a bunch of gravel on top of the street where there was a car parked on top. So I was like, oh, let me go park on the gravel area next to this car. I guess this is the designated parking area. And then I was going a little bit too fast. Once I got onto the gravel, I flew off of the bike. I flew completely off of the bike. And I was like, I remember being so scared, but I was okay, thank goodness. And other people like were in the other side of the other parking lot, and they were like staring at me to just make sure that I was okay. But thank goodness I was okay. And the bike got fixed after. It wasn't a big deal or anything. But that was like one of my stupidest mistakes I've done. Just going onto the gravel too quick, and then I just flew right off.
It's one of those things you learn because when I took my motorcycle license the first time in Texas, and this was shoot 35 years ago, you used to have to ride, go over two by fours, go through a little gravel pit. You had to go through this little rocky area, and now they just like, oh, can you ride? Cool. Go do a figure eight and come back. But I think everybody should take the MSF course because it's really crazy
Yes.
now. And this goes with cars too. They basically, if once you take your test, and some places you don't even have to take a actual driving test anymore. You just do a written test, and they're like, okay, get in the car. And then,
Wow.
like, our daughter, she just during COVID, they said your parents can sign off and say you're a good driver, and you're done. You can go get your license. And it's like,
Whoa.
well, I was a hard teacher. Yeah, yeah, I'm sure she much would rather ride with my wife than me, but or drive, because I'm like, what did you do? What'd you do that for? Why'd you do that? Because I want them to think. I'm thinking of, your child. You want them to think. And I'm because I'm a military guy. I'm not trying to scare her, but I want to make her think what she's done. And anytime she starts to do something dumb, I want her to hear my voice. I want her to hear my voice in her head.
I'm sure she hears it still while
Oh, I'm
she's
sure.
driving sometimes.
I
But
am
you just
sure.
care about her safety, and it's a serious thing. Not many people take driving a car serious. I see way too many people texting on the phone when they're driving their cars and doing other activities while they're driving their car. But at least when we're on our motorcycle, we're kind of focused and we can only keep our
You,
hands
you
on our
have to be. But
handlebars.
I've seen people texting on motorcycles before, and I'm like, what are you doing?
No good.
Anytime I see somebody that they say their phone fell off the motorcycle, I'm like, oh, you were probably texting. Nobody, your motorcycle, your bike, your phone is not somewhere on the motorcycle where it can fall off while you're riding. You had to have taken it out or something. So I'm like, and yeah, and somebody popular just dropped their phone off the bike, and it's somebody that I actually have seen whip their phone out before while they were riding. So I'm like, yeah, I know what happened.
It's
Fool.
too dangerous for me. I'm like such a goody two shoes. I always have my phone in my tank bag, and it has a clear cover on the top so I can see like the messages and GPS still. But I try not to, fidget too much when I'm driving or riding because it's just so dangerous. Anything can happen in like a second.
I have mine on a rock form because I have a tank bag they used to keep it in, and it would get hot and it would overheat. And so the
Oh,
rock form, I could actually put it up on the handlebars on this little stand, and the wind blows by it, and it stays nice and cool. I can still see the messages pop up and stuff. And when I look at, so if you put it on rock form, it's like up here, like here. And
uh-huh.
on the tank bag,
Yeah.
it's down. So it's much. That's why I don't like speedometers on tanks. I don't like any of the instruments on the tank. I like them up where I
Mm-hmm.
can see them, because, especially on a motorcycle, things happen in a second.
Yeah.
But that's my little plug.
I have a little holder thing too on my handlebar, but my phone is too small. It always presses 911 somehow with these side buttons. And one time I was
911.
riding and then I got connected to 911 without me knowing. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm on a motorcycle right now. I didn't mean to like butt dial you. So then ever since that time, I've been putting in my tank bag.
So mine, the rock form actually has a little lock on the back of it, and it actually
Oh,
locks. It locks into a
wow.
little button on the bike where it can't come out. It
That's
locks in,
nice.
so it stays there. Nothing's grabbing the buttons or nothing. Because I had a ram mount. It was the same thing. It had four little fingers, and when it grabbed them,
Yes, that's
sometimes
what I have.
it would turn down the volume. It would hit the power button, and it'd power it off. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. So then I started seeing all the rock form commercials, and they're a little more expensive, but they're worth it. And
I need to get the one you have because I have the RAM one, and that's the one that kept pressing every single button.
yes, but it became a pain in the butt. Now I can put I have a solar charger battery bank. I put that in it when I'm,
Oh,
yeah. And then so I have my phone on one side and my little battery bank on the other side when I'm on trips, and it just, it works out really well.
that's epic. I need to get that solar battery pack too.
They're very handy. I use them when I go to the camp out, by the way. And I
I
am
hope I can
sure,
go one day.
yeah, I was gonna say, you just started looking at all the camp out stuff, so you're already curious, and it's a good curiosity to have because I love going down there. I'm surprised
It
that
looks
someone in the
awesome.
Yeah, I'm surprised someone in the chat hasn't asked you yet when you're going to Forgotten Angels. So they will. All right. Our next question. So we talked about the dumbest thing you ever done on a motorcycle. What's the scariest thing that's ever happened to you on a motorcycle?
Ooh, this is okay. This is when one time I was backpacking behind somebody and he was trying to go up this very steep hill and we were going and going and going and we're like, "Oh, yeah, we're almost getting to the top." And then out of nowhere, I fall off on the back. I fall off and I scratch my back. I think I still have a little mark on my back. And the bike fell over too on the side. And we're on the top of this like steep mountain. So I'm trying to help him like lift up this like almost 500-pound bike. And I'm literally on the floor pushing with all my might to get it back upright because it was so heavy. Like the way his bike was, it's just like so much weight was on the top part, and we were like pushing and pushing. I was literally on the floor with the bushes and stuff, like pushing, like ah! And then I used all my might to do that. And then ever since then, I was like, I need to get stronger because if I drop my bike, I'm gonna have to pick it up too. So that's been a scary moment for me.
Okay, cool. So are you getting stronger? Are you doing some bike lifts, doing some deadlifts, and
I try to do a little exercise, but honestly, I've been slacking. I've been doing more running than actual weightlifting, honestly.
well, that builds your endurance, so that's not a bad thing either. That helps your legs out. Okay, Angel Face has a question. Can you name a female motor channel on YouTube that you admire? And she says you don't have to say her.
Oh, I admire her though. I love her channel. She's the one that actually introduced me to you as
Mhm.
well. So I want to say Angel Face Moto Rider.
And I want to say Josh Harris. Right here, baby, right here. And Christopher.
she's always so supportive to me and my channel, and she's always keeping me in the loop with other riders and stuff. And that's how I've been discovering more riders on the YouTube community, because I'm still new to the YouTube community as well. So, and with the motorcycle community, so she's been keeping me in the loop and introducing me to so many of you guys.
Yeah, this was when I first started seeing this. So obviously, weirdly enough, so I didn't start watching motorcycle videos until when I bought the BMW. And when I bought the BMW, I was trying to find if I wanted to get the BMW, the Grand America, or if I wanted to get a Goldwing, because we were going to start making really long trips. And so I Googled the K16, the Grand America, and Shade Tree Surgeon's channel came up because he had just gone to Vegas, and rode it out in the desert. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Well, then I found another one for Goldwings. I started watching that. But then, of course, I went out and tried to ride a Goldwing at the Honda dealer, and they wouldn't let me ride one. I went out to the BMW dealer, and they were like, yeah, let's put some gas in it. You can ride it, which is weird
Hey.
considering, yeah, it used to be that Honda were like, because they knew once they put your butt in that seat, you're buying that motorcycle. But
Mm.
now they've become such a eclectic snobby brand. They're like, no, you can't ride on motorcycles. But in BMW and Harley, you're like, yeah, get on, take them out.
Hey, I
So,
love that.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, I love my dealer. Yeah, this is my Harley dealer.
That's a
One,
sick shirt.
this is the one I just won the gumbo cook off at. So
Oh yes.
shout out to Southern Thunder Harley Davidson in South Haven, Mississippi, because you guys are freaking awesome. Every
That
person
was a
in there
great
is,
video.
yeah, every person in there is absolutely crazy, awesome. So shout out to you guys.
Everyone check out that gumbo video.
Check out
You're
my gumbo
gonna miss
video. I'm a
out.
world champion. I I could show you my trophy right now, but I want you to actually go watch the video and then the trophy will
Yeah,
be.
watch the video. It's worth it. It was hilarious.
I had a good time making it. I did. And I made a bunch of friends making that video. So, all right. So, what has been your favorite part of motorcycle riding?
My favorite part of motorcycle riding has to be making new connections with people, and also, building confidence in myself, because with the motorcycles, it's helps me to become more brave in other areas of my life as well, thanks to getting out of my comfort zone with the riding and stuff. That's how has really grown me as a person, and it's only been about 2 years, so I'm excited to see more growth that comes from it.
You absolutely will. Because it's the friendships you make, the people you meet, and it's funny how so you meet people on this channel, not my channel, but on YouTube and other channels, and you get to know them like they're friends because you get to see, like I've been watching this Norman Reedus thing called Ride, and I knew who Norman Reedus was before, and I've seen him in shows, and of course he was in a couple of movies. But when you see somebody raw like this, like you, like me, right
Yeah.
here, you get a totally new understanding of what they're about and what they're like because they're not dressed up, they're not in character, they're just them, they're just that person. And when you see that part of them, you start to feel like you know them for real in real life. And I found that when I went to the camp out, people that I knew on video, and I thought, well, they're gonna be different in real life, and they weren't. That was them. And when I met them at the camp out, I feel like I'd known them for years because you get to see a very raw side of them. So it was very cool.
I love that because even for me, like me and Angel Face Moto Rider, we've been talking for I think about a couple months now since she's gone to my channel, and I feel like she's like one of my sisters because I'm her only child. So I actually feel like she's my sister from all our conversations online.
It is good, cool. Josh has well a statement and a question. First off, he said he loves me and I love you too. And then he says, when are you going to FA?
I don't know when, because I just found out about this year's event for the upcoming one in March. But hopefully, if I can't make it to this one, hopefully next year, since I just found out about this one.
Yeah, this one's coming up fast. So I keep saying, okay, well I'll go to this next one and I'll probably skip the next one. And then when the next one comes, I go, well, I'll go to this one and then I'll skip the next one. And the next one comes and I'll go, well, I'll go to this one and then I'll skip. And now I'm like, I will probably never skip it.
Because you told
September,
me this is like your sixth one,
this
right?
has been my
Coming
sixth
up?
one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So the first one I went to was, you guys out in the crowd can help me. First one I went to was when they gave away Road King Kong, and I'm pretty sure that was the second one. The first one was Jared Williams. Second one was Road King Kong. The third one was the bike and truck duo, I think.
Oh, nice.
So they give away some really nice prizes there. Now they've actually started, instead of just giving away one every camp out, they give out one about every 3 to 4 weeks, and then they have a major one they give out for the campouts. So it's became very cool, and it's not like they're $30,000 motorcycles during the year. They'll give away a bike that's $5,000. They'll give away in the last probably 6 months they've been giving away 80s, 90s motorcycles, but they're so
Wow.
nice and they're fixed up, and
Yeah.
of course Shelby and you know Joe the Mountain Man or the Joe the Mountain Jedi are fixing these bikes up, and those, if you've met these guys, they are so smart, especially Shelby. Shelby, talking to you. So these bikes are fixed by real professionals, not amateurs. So they know what they're doing. So you can trust these bikes, because
Hmm.
these are other people who love motorcycles. So they're going to do a good job on these motorcycles, and they want you to be safe on them too. Especially once you become friends with
Yeah.
them. Yeah, you don't want to fix a bike and have your friend get on it and break down or run off the road or something because the wheels fell off or the brakes failed. So yeah, but they're lovely motorcycles. Moral of the story: they're lovely motorcycles. So yeah,
I
so
saw in your Forgotten Angels when you were test riding your other friend's
yeah,
bike and
Matt's.
the front brake didn't work for you. I
Well, he told me that happens, and so on that brand, on that motorcycle, it's known that the front brake, there was a problem with it. And he says, yeah, just
was
squeeze it once and it won't
like,
be there. Squeeze it again, it builds pressure. So I knew it was going to happen. So I kept, every time I come up to a red light or a stop sign, I'd slowly start applying pressure. And then I got too comfortable, complacent. And I went to come up on one, I squeezed it, it was there. And I waited a little bit, I went to squeeze it again, it wasn't there. But luckily, anytime I come up to red light, I don't center up on a vehicle. I go to one side or the other. And so when I started losing the brake, I just shot off to one side. And I know I scared the woman to death in front of me because I zoomed in on her mirror and her eyes were like
yeah.
this big and I could see her mouth moving. And I just waved. I'm like, oh, sorry. And she's like, it's okay. Like, so I guess she's used to dumb people down, on motorcycles, I guess.
That got my heart racing when I was watching it as just a viewer.
Well, it's hard to, is Matt's out, Matt's in the audience. It's hard to explain how quick and fast Matt's motorcycle is. It's a night rod. It's a V rod that's souped up and it has a lower gearing in the lower end. Has shortened pipes on it, so it's not only fast, not
Wow.
only quick, it's loud. So when you're riding this thing, it wants to kill you. It wants to kill you dead. So yeah, but it's a
It made
badass
beautiful
motorcycle.
noises. It made
Oh
such
yeah,
beautiful
oh yeah,
noises when
dude.
you were riding it. I was like, wow.
Yeah, the decel on it was bad. It's a bad motorcycle. It's fun to ride though. It's one of those things. I'll ask you this question later, but it's one of those things that you want to ride it once, and when you're done, you're like, if I get on it again, now I'm confident. I will probably kill myself because now I'm not scared of it anymore. So it's good to have a little fear when you're on a motorcycle, just a little bit,
Yes. Just a little, just to
just a
keep you
little.
alive, you know?
Yes, it keeps you from doing dumb things. It's when you get complacent and you feel like you can do anything, and that's when you really hurt yourself. Trust me, I know. That's okay. What has been the most frustrating part of riding motorcycles for you?
Ooh, for me, I think it's like the maintenance and stuff like that because when I used to ride that dirt bike, oh my goodness, it would break down a lot. It was like older dirt bike. It was a 2015 DR 200S. Oh my goodness, like there was like two or three times we had to tow it back home. It was just like kept breaking down on us after we take it on the trails. I'll be going on the trails, all good, la di da di, and then it just won't turn on or something. It'll start glitching, whatever, and just doesn't want to turn on, or I lose a part while I'm off roading and stuff like that. Since it was an older bike, and that was like the headache of that motorcycle of that dirt bike. I have to say.
Once you start riding Harleys, you'll understand if the part falls off, you don't need it. So
I haven't rode a Harley yet, but hopefully one day too, because those are super cool.
every bike has its own spirit, and it doesn't matter if it's a Honda, a Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, BMW. Every bike has its own spirit, and they all. It's like different people. Sometimes I like to hang out with these people. Sometimes I like to hang out with those people. Bikes are the same way. So it's like there's not really a bike that's better than any of the other ones. Some are just better at certain things than other things. So
Yeah, that's for sure.
it is what it is. So nothing at random has a question. Do you have a motorcycle that you've ever ridden that you hate and will never ride again?
Uh, Not really because I haven't really tried too many motorcycles. I've only ridden the DR 200S, the dirt bike, and my Kawasaki Vulcan S. And then I also one time like practiced like my friend she let me go on her Grom for a little bit around the parking lot. So I don't really have too much experience on many bikes. So I can't
But
really answer what's the
you'll
worst.
get there. So they're talking about how you call the 2015 old, and I get that. When you first start riding, you're like, okay, in your mind, you're like, I want a newer bike that runs well, that I can depend on. And again, once you start going, hey, I'm going to get into a little bit of older bike. Now I want a classic bike. Now I want a vintage bike. Once you stretch, it's just like taking longer trips. Once you realize
Hmm.
these older bikes are confident too, you kind of let your age gap go. You start dating the older motorcycles, so to say. So and it's
I
just
think it's
something that
just
you
because
go
that one was like a little unreliable, I guess you could
sketchy.
say. A little sketchy because you just never knew what your day was going to be like. You're like, I take it out, am I going to have to tow it home or am I going to be able to ride it home kind of vibes.
Well,
And I think it just needed work.
once you have a bike break, and Shade Tree talks about this all the time. You're worried about breaking down. You're worried about getting a flat. You're worried about running out of gas until it happens.
Yeah.
And then the remedy is so quick. You're like, oh, why was I worried about that? I've gotten flats on the Harley. I've gotten flats on the BMW. The BMW obviously sucked
Wow.
more because I had to get it up on a center stand and I had to have help. But once you do it, it's like I can do this. I can do this, and you don't think about it anymore. So
I
it's
think over time, if I get more, hands-on mechanical, experience, I think I'll feel better too.
so what you're telling nothing at random. He needs to learn how to work on motorcycles.
I think I
We're
need
picking
to.
on him. We're picking on him. No, Nara is starting to do his own customization. He did his own engine guard. He's doing his own bars. I think very soon.
Wow.
He did his own sissy bar. He's getting there. We still kind of make fun of him because he hasn't changed his own oil yet, but he's getting there. And I think everybody should learn how to do that. So,
I love the
oh,
look of the sissy bars too. They're super cool.
what did Lost on the Road say? I'll have to find it later. Oh, he said a Kawasaki 125 is better than the Grom. He's probably right though. I'm just gonna say. Anyway, so Angel Face had another question. We're going to cut you off, Angel Face. No more questions. She said,
Ah!
"How long have you been making videos, and how many videos do you think you have out right now?" I know. It's if somebody asked me how many I had, I'd have to say, "Oh, a lot," because I really don't even know. So you
I
have a
think
lot.
I have a ton of videos because I started my YouTube channel way, 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 way back when I was still in Jersey too. So I have some like videos from back then. So I don't know how many years it's been, but I think I have over 700 videos, including all the shorts and stuff. All those short videos and stuff, they definitely add up. I think I have
Yeah,
over 700
yeah.
on my
They
channel.
add up quick. Yeah, a long form video, you're looking at between video taping it and editing it, and then trying to get on YouTube. You're probably looking at like 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, sometimes a couple of days. A short video, you can just throw
Yeah.
it up there. Now, I've thrown up 3 or 4 shorts a day sometimes, so they add up quick,
Yeah,
and they're
I
not
have a
much.
lot of short videos ever since they released that feature on YouTube. You guys won't get bored on my channel at least, there's a lot to look at.
And the music is good too. I was watching one of them the other night that you were riding through town, and then you went off into the
Mhm.
desert. But the music, you're so good at putting music to videos. So it's like,
Aw, thank
and that
you.
makes up one of my things when people ask me about making videos. If I had one point, I would say never let there be dead space. If you
Mhm.
stop talking, cut that part of the video out or add music because people
Yeah.
want to be stimulated, they want to be entertained. If you can't talk the whole time, throw a little music in there. And you're very good at that,
Mhm.
throwing music in there and keeping the dead space to a minimum. And I think that's what makes a good video. It
Aw, thank
keeps
you
people
so
watching.
much. Thank you. I really try. I love just doing it for fun. YouTube is just another hobby for me that I enjoy. And every time I record a ride, I can't help but go home and be like, oh my God, I'm excited to edit the video and put it up and stuff already.
Oh yeah, because it's it is exciting. So well, to break off, are you going to try to go to Forgotten Angels in March? I mean, is it too late? Do you think you can plan, or we're
I
not going
don't
to
know if
push
I
you?
can plan it
We're not going to
that
push you.
short, but we'll see. We'll see in the next few weeks. If I do go, I'll definitely let you guys know because I want to meet you guys too.
It'll be very cool. It'll be a very cool time.
People
So
were so nice in the chat. They were like, we would love to have you. Like yesterday, they were like, oh, we would love to have you and stuff. And I was like, oh, I feel so loved in this community. I just came out of nowhere.
it's a lot of fun. I mean, you really, like I said, you like when you talk about looking at a motorcycle, that's your kind of thing. You can look at people and go, that's my kind of people. That's my kind of people. We can jive.
I
So yeah,
hope everyone who's watching can attend Forgotten Angels because it is for a great cause and you guys should check it out. Check out their website for more details.
looking through here, I'm not sure. I know Josh Harris, I think is sure going. Greg's going. Juice is
Anyone
going.
from Vegas going so I can ride with you guys? Hit me up
Somebody's
if you're
coming.
from Vegas.
I think even so. There's 2 people I know that are coming from that way, and they're flying. They're going to fly in. And they're going to rent motorcycles because
That's what I was thinking.
that is a long way to make your inaugural trip to try
Yeah.
that. But I know people that have done it. I've got a friend who lives down in Waco uh, that decided he was going to ride up to Arkansas, and I'm like,
Wow.
shit, yeah, dude, do it. And but that's how you learn what you're capable of. We talked about this earlier. That's how you find
Mhm.
your limits. And if it's one of those things where you start and you're like, oh, this ain't for me, you can turn around. But if you start and you're comfortable, and you're never going to be fully comfortable. You're going to have those
Yep.
points where I'm cold, my feet are cold, I'm wet, rain's coming down my back. But that's when you find out how tough you really are. When you can go, I can do this. This is making me a better person. It's making me miserable, but it's making me a better person. And once you survive it, you're like, I can do that. So yeah,
Let's see if it
we'll
all
see.
works out. Maybe I'll be there this year too, guys, and hopefully I'll see you guys there.
Yeah, David Tyler did invite you personally. He said, come on.
Yeah, he was so
He
sweet.
is a sweetie. He's one of they were talking about good huggers at the camp out. I'd say David gives the most all-encompassing, comfortable hug, but I think Cindy
Aw.
Cindy gives the most loving hug.
Aw. I hope to meet them soon.
They are absolutely wonderful people. Everybody's a good hugger down there. Everybody's a good hugger. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, you know you're loved when they hug you. David, if he hugs you, you're not going to get away for at least 15, 20 seconds. He's that kind of hugger. So
I love
prepare
that.
yourself. Prepare your lungs. Take a deep breath before you go in because you're not going to breathe while he's got you. All right. So other than Forgotten Angels, what are your plans for the new year?
For the new year, I'm hoping I will do some more long distance trips like last year, how I went to Zion. Hopefully, I can go to, a little further around here too. But I don't know about all the way to Tampa yet, you know. But, a little couple more long distance trips to like, the bordering states around me. Hopefully, I can go explore for like a few days or day trip or type of thing. And I would love to do that more long distance trips since I'm a more short distance rider at the moment.
That would be cool. That'd be cool. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. Do you have a tent yet? So I know you've camped in a cave before because I saw that video. So do you have a tent? Are you prepared to sleep out
I
under the
I
stars?
need to get a new tent because I don't have a tent anymore and I don't have sleeping bag anymore. So I need to get new camping equipment for sure.
Well, I know Angel's coming down, so there's tents down that you can borrow. There's because people leave, they leave their tents, they leave their mats, they leave their tarps and stuff, and when people come, if they don't come again, it's free to borrow. There's chairs and stuff. So, but ain't
Wow, that's so nice.
Red Rider, she's coming, so I've got a tent for her lined up, and we're gonna run to. The joke is we're gonna run to Walmart after I pick her up, and she's gonna get a My Little Mermaid or a Finding Nemo sleeping bag.
That's cute.
So that'll be fun.
I used to have like all the Disney princesses on one sleeping bag before when I was a kid. My dad got that for me.
My daughters did too, and yeah, the one who's 25 had it. Now the one that's 17 had it, and now it's in the closet because she was too old for it.
It's funny because my dad bought me that sleeping bag, but I never went camping with my family at all.
Let's see if we got any more questions here. Just a second. Throw your questions in the comments. We'll get to you. Angel Face, you can ask another question if you want to. All right. So, what bike? So, first of all, how many bikes have you rode? And of all the bikes you rode,
Just those three. My friend's Grom, my Kawasaki Vulcan S, and then that 2015 DR 200S. That's all I've ridden ever.
all right. Oh, so if you
Oh,
could go,
the MSF course, I rode their bike too, but I don't know what model that was at all. I
was
forgot about that too. MSF course.
where did you take it? Was it a Harley class or was it a
It
regular?
was at one of our college
Mm.
campus. So it wasn't a Harley, but some other people in my class that were a little more advanced, they got like these brand new BMW bikes to ride that day. But they gave me a beat up junky bike that time. Thankfully so, because I dropped it like 7 times that day. I thought I
Yeah.
was gonna get kicked out.
Oh no. Somebody in the chat the other night was saying when they dropped the bike, they get kicked out of class, and I'm like, that would never happen. Because I mean, so in the military, you've got to take a class every 3 years just to be able to ride a motorcycle on base. So I started with the basic class, then I went to the advanced class, then I went to the street rider class, then I went to the sport rider class, then I went to the advanced rider class again, and then they're like, "Oh, you haven't taken the basic MSF course," and I was like, "Sure, I did. I took it like 20 years ago," and they're like, "Well, no, it's not in the record." And I'm like, "Well, because it's a digital record now. There were no digital records then." They're like, "Well, you have to take the class again." I'm like, "Literally, I have 5 classes that I've taken. You're gonna make me take the basic again?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's the military for you." So I'm like, "Cool." So I went back, and so yeah, every class since the very first one, I've ridden either my own bike or I rode a big bike like a 750 Honda when I was in Virginia. So now I'm back riding a Buell, a single cylinder 550cc motorcycle or 500cc motorcycle. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. So a bigger bike, as you know, you gotta lean it in the corner. And if you start getting low, you just squeeze the throttle and I'll stand it back up. Little bikes will
Wow.
not do
Yeah.
that. It's you can't count on power to save you. You got to use it's all technique. So it's a totally different bike and it's crazy.
That was must have been fun for you to take it again, though.
It was fun, and I dropped that buell a few times again because I thought, you try to lean low because you're trying to show off. You're like, I'm an advanced rider, I can do this. And when you go to hit the throttle, it ain't there. So now you have to actually do all these butt slides that they tell you how to do, and now you have to do this counterbalance lean, and you have to actually do the real things to keep from putting the bike down. But it was fun. It was fun.
It was hilarious because when I first signed up for that course, I thought it was going to be very beginner, basic type of level. But like, I remember going there and then it was like immediately like, oh, get on the bikes and start doing stuff already. I was like, whoa, like I thought we were going to like walk the bikes, slowly and then start learning about the gears and shifting and all that. It was very like boom, 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 boom. But I made it. I passed the test and I actually scored pretty well when it came down to the final moment to actually do the test part. I actually scored pretty well at that part. So I was very proud of myself.
Sometimes it's good to eat from the fire hose. I mean, it's because it doesn't give you time to think about the small things. It just makes you have to do it. So
Yeah.
Journey and Jerry's asking, what is your favorite food or dish?
Ooh. Oh my gosh, I'm such a foodie. I love all types of food. I think one of my favorite foods is Korean barbecue. I love going to like all you can eat Korean barbecue. I think I'm about to go in a few days for my aunt's birthday.
I think I'm gonna go now.
So
What?
man, like when I go there, I'll eat through that whole time slot that they allow us to eat, and I just keep ordering and ordering and ordering. I just love Korean barbecue.
They used to have so my wife loves pho, good pho,
Yes, pho is so good.
and they had a good pho place here, and they closed it, and then the next place we had to go was is almost like 45 minutes away, almost an hour, depending on the traffic.
Wow.
And but the best pho places are like this big. The one place had 4 tables in it, but they were
Yeah, they're
so good.
small.
They were so good though. That it was like, yeah, that's my thing.
Whenever you guys come to Vegas, I'll have my mom make homemade pho for you guys, because then you guys will be so in love. She makes really good pho.
Well, I miss being in Navy towns because Navy towns, obviously, guys get stationed overseas, they marry,
Hmm.
they bring their wives back. So good German food, good Japanese food, good Korean food, good Filipino food, good Vietnamese food, good, everything. Everybody brings their wives back. So anywhere around a Navy town, you can find food of any kind you
Great
want.
food.
So yeah, the first time I had kimchi was in Norfolk, Virginia, and they were looking at me like like I thought I was gonna hate it. Well, I love hot food, and so
Hmm.
I was raised on the bayou, so I'm used to things being sometimes a little more fishy than others. But
Yeah.
pho, it's actually not that bad if you can
Hmm.
once you realize it's just fish. It's very hot fish, and it's cabbage, but it was good. It was actually good.
I love kimchi too. It's so good. Like I love to eat it with rice. And when I'm at the Korean barbecue place and I'll ask for a side of kimchi and you just eat with the meat and the
I
rice,
put it
it's
on the
just so
food.
good.
Yeah, yeah. I put it on the
So
meats.
good.
It was actually pretty good.
It's really good.
It's like anything. I mean, I know people who won't eat tuna because they're like, oh, it smells like rotten fish. It's supposed to. Once you realize that's how it's supposed to be, it's not rotten. It smells. That's how it's supposed to be. So I always thought it was pretty good. But
Have
pho,
you ever had durian
no,
before?
no, I'm not
That
gonna.
smells. It
No,
smells.
no. That's if you eat, and I'm the same thing with hot. I'm okay with hot food as long as I still taste the food. As long as I still taste something. Something that just you're eating it just because it tastes horrible, and let's just see if you can eat it. I don't see the purpose. So ooh.
I love durian, but a lot of people can't, stomach it. But if you look up videos on YouTube like cats reacting to durian smell, it is the most hilarious thing ever. If you guys want to check it out on YouTube.
Actually, we'll have to check it out. It's just I think I know what it's going to be, but I'll check it out anyway. There was another question, and I forgot it now. Okay. Anybody got a question? Throw it back. If I haven't asked your question yet, go ahead and throw it down in the comments. Oh, I want to say hello to who did I miss? Lost on the Road. Sorry, I missed you, Mike. Welcome to the channel. Let's see. I get sidetracked. I'm like a squirrel with a nut, man. I'll get distracted and forget where I'm at.
I wish I could see the comments, but I will rewatch this to read everyone's comments when I'm done this too.
It'll take about. It usually takes a couple hours for all the comments to come back up. So I don't even know if I asked this question already, but if I did, you can tell me. If you could
Hmm.
go anywhere on a motorcycle today, you could start anywhere and go anywhere and ride a motorcycle of your choice, any kind. Where would you
Hmm.
go, and what would you ride?
Ooh, I would go to Sedona. I've only been there once. I love that place. Like I just love the energy there and I love the nature there and stuff. So much to explore still. Because last time I went there was like only a few days. So I didn't get to explore much. And I wasn't with my motorcycle. I was with the car. So and any motorcycle you said I could take there, you say?
Any motorcycle you want.
You know, my dream motorcycle is Hayabusa. I never even sat on one or anything. I just love how it looks and everything. I love the 2023 model. It's like gray and red colorway. I love that one. And that would be my dream bike for
I like the
sure.
red and black one. Here's the funny thing about
Mm-hmm.
Hayabusas. Hayabusas were not built to be sport bikes. They actually were made to be touring bikes. In the original Hayabusas,
Oh,
before they went into production, they had bags on them. They had trunks, and people
wow.
actually now will. So they put them out for. It's kind of the opposite of the Goldwings. Goldwing was meant to be a sport bike, but it had so much power and so much longevity, and it ran so well. People started putting bags on them. So, but the
Wow.
Hayabusa, you can actually still get a Hayabusa with luggage and with a trunk. You can get it delivered that way from the factory
I
because
didn't know that.
and people say they are fantastic tour bikes. Now, if you get one that's stretched out and somebody has already done horrible things to it and hated it, that's probably a different story. If you get a
Uh-huh.
factory Hayabusa, they are fantastic on long trips. They're big, they're
Wow, I didn't
wide.
know
Yep,
that.
yep, yep. They're fantastic
I
bikes.
love that because they look so beautiful. Like I went to this bike meet and I was like, there's this guy there and he had the one that I liked, the 2023 model, and it was the same colorway that I'm obsessed with, the gray and red. And I was like, oh my God, you have my dream bike. I went up to him, I was like, you have my dream bike.
I like the black and red one. The black and red is just it strikes so well.
They look
But
so cool. Every
absolutely.
colorway is super cool, but the gray and red was my favorite one.
All right. So, have you inspired anyone to ride or wrench on their own bikes?
After I was riding for a bit, my cousin Kelly from California, she had messaged me that she was gonna go shopping for a bike. So I don't know if that kind of inspired her, like my videos and my posts, because I have another cousin too. He rides too, but she messaged me that she loved my videos and stuff, and she was telling me how she was gonna shop for her bike. So I
I
think
think you
hopefully
did.
I inspired her a little bit.
I think you did. Welcome to Melissa. Welcome into the chat. I absolutely don't know who you are. You're a total stranger to me. No, I'm kidding. That's my wife's best friend.
Ah! Oh,
Yeah.
hi!
Let's see. Yep. Greg Forehand says the insurance on a Hayabusa is cheaper than a GSXR 1000.
Oh, wow. That's good to know, too. Because
Yep.
I don't want to
Because
pay crazy rates either.
when they run insurance on a Hayabusa, it comes up as a sport tourer. Now you know.
Ah. So many perks to it.
It's a
One day
responsible
I'll get
bike.
it.
It's a responsible bike. There you go. All right.
It's definitely fooling the market for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Well, mine it's a 1600 cc motorcycle. It's the fastest touring motorcycle on the planet.
Wow.
But it's cheaper than the Harley to insure
Oh, that's
because the insure is
good.
a sport bike. That one is a touring bike. Yeah,
That is so good.
absolutely nuts.
I've
Cheat
heard
the
some
system.
crazy stuff. I've heard crazy stuff because like my cousin, he was about to get a new bike from the dealership, and then when he ran the rates for the insurance, it was like half the price of the bike for just a year. And then his mom and dad were like, "I don't think that's a good decision."
Motorcycles are actually cheap to insure. Probably not a GSXR 1000, but
Uh huh.
I remember I got the when I started getting back into motorcycles, we went to insure the other BMW, and it was literally like $30 a month.
So
Now I'm
cheap.
older. Yeah, now I'm over 50. I could probably a month on the car is like a year for the motorcycle. It's insane.
Wow.
But see, responsible. Good on gas. They're responsible. You're saving the environment. You're saving parking. You're putting
Yeah.
less traffic on the road. You take up less room on the highway. Total responsibility. You're an adult. Congratulations. Welcome to life.
Life on two wheels has its perks for sure.
Absolutely. If you could tell a new rider one thing that you had to learn the hard way, what would it be?
Ooh, I think practice a ton, and also wear proper gear. I always wore gear, so it's not something I had to learn the hard way, but it's something I take very serious. I always wear like my specific riding pants, riding boots, my helmet, my gloves. I definitely would recommend that to all new riders because no matter how good of a rider you are, you just don't know who you're going to interact with on the road. And I would rather just see more people be safe and to be properly geared and stuff so we can continue to live another day and to ride another day too. So
Absolutely. And I tell people that all the time. You've got to, I mean, obviously, you're in Vegas, you know this. There's going to be days that it's too hot to wear full gear, full jacket, heavy pads, the breastplate, everything. But you still have to
mm-hmm.
compensate in a way that you're safe, but you're protected,
Yes.
but you're not going to overheat. And you've got to find a happy
Yeah.
medium. It's, in the military, we call it controlling the risk. Sometimes you can make yourself so safe that you start being unsafe. If you're wearing 40 pounds of gear and it's 120 degrees outside, all of a sudden you're not safe anymore. So
Yes.
you just mitigate your risks. That's all you got to do. Helmet all the
It's
time,
very
gloves all the
true.
time, boots all the time. Sometimes I don't skimp, but sometimes I go to a short sleeve shirt instead of a jacket. I'll go to jeans instead of riding pants.
mm-hmm.
But you still jeans are better than wearing shorts. Leather.
Yep.
Gloves and a long sleeve t-shirt is better than a muscle shirt and putting your chest hair out in the wind because something's gonna hurt you. Something wants to kill you all the time. But
Yes, even like for me when it's really hot out here, I just wear my thinner riding jeans instead of like my bulky winter pants, which are like more padded. My BMW pants, they're like super padded and super thick, but I wear the thinner riding jeans in the summer, and then I'll wear a thinner jacket that's also riding qualified and stuff. Um, Thinner jacket, but I never go without my jacket, my helmet, my gloves, and my specific riding pants and my riding boots.
yeah,
No matter what, even though I'm sweating like a ton underneath, I just still do it. And then I'll just take breaks in between the rides and stuff, just drink some more water, take off the jacket on the break and stuff, take the
yeah,
helmet
you're
off.
never gonna make everybody
Yeah,
happy, but you've got to compensate for you. You don't have anybody else to
yeah.
please. You've got to make yourself
hmm
happy.
But I
I've
always
had people
try to
tell
make
me,
it.
yeah, I've had people tell me, because they have a mesh jacket, I have a mesh Rev-It jacket. People are like, why are you wearing that? That's not any protection at all. Something could go right through. You should be wearing leather. Well, okay, that's your choice. You wear leather.
I have a
That's
mesh one
cool.
too. That's what I wear for summertime. My
Yeah,
Sedici mesh, like more mesh material
yeah.
jacket too.
As
It's
long as you
still
feel
better than
protected, that's
any.
what's important. If somebody, I
Mhm.
mean, I will never go without a helmet, but if that's your choice, that's your choice.
Mhm.
And all I can say is I'm not one of those people who, it seems like I say this a lot lately. I'm not one of those people who, if I see somebody without a helmet, I'm like, oh my God, I hope they crash and die. I'm the guy
Oh
that's,
no,
I'm the guy that
never.
says, I hope they don't get in an accident. You
Yes.
know, I don't
Cause
want to
some
see you get
states,
in an accident, but I want to be there when you do because that can help you.
some states have the law where you don't need the helmet, but in Vegas you do.
So yeah. So before I lived in a non-helmet state, and I never wore a helmet. And one day I had an accident, but I had a helmet on, and the only reason I had the helmet on was because it was raining that day. But the
Wow.
doctor said if I didn't have the helmet on, I'd have died. Since that day, I'm full helmet because I don't, I've ran that risk once. I played poker and I won. Next time I might not.
Yeah.
So
I'm so grateful that you're okay and that you were wearing a helmet that day.
me
Super important.
too. Angel has another
And that I
question.
was able to meet you now because of that.
Yeah, yeah. This, my life would be entirely different. Absolutely. Angel wants to know, do you listen to music when you ride?
Yes, I do. I have a playlist that I love to listen to. I definitely love listening to music. Sometimes though, if I'm like recording stuff and I'm trying to talk, then I won't play the music. But most of the time I am listening to music when I'm out there on my own, especially on solo rides, and I'm just like jamming. I'm like,
Oh yeah, I love. If I'm on the highway, I want to hear some music. If I'm in town,
mhm.
I'll turn it low, where it's just kind of a background music. If I'm on the highway,
Mhm.
especially like when I go down to Forgotten Angels, straight there without stopping is 12 hours. So breaking it up on the
Whoa.
trip, breaking it up and getting there is 14 hours. That's so 14 hours with gas stops and rest stops. Sometimes it's 15, 16. So I want to hear music. I want something to entertain my brain because
Mhm.
highway fever is the worst thing that can happen to you. If you're driving along and all you hear is the drum of the motor,
Yeah.
it'll eventually just like put you in a daze and you'll run right in the back of somebody. You need something to keep your brain occupied.
mhm.
In music, like I said, just like in videos, music will keep you
Yep.
occupied. It'll keep your brain awake.
It keeps me like energized and stuff, and like it gives me more energy when I'm on the bike too.
Oh, so what is your Juice wants to know what's your favorite song for motorcycle riding? Just one song.
One song. Ooh. There's so many songs I love. I love this song. It's called Who's That Chick? And it's by David Guetta and Rihanna. It's an old song. I love that song.
David Guetta,
You
that's
guys
way
should listen.
back.
Yeah, you guys should look it up. Who's that chick? And
Okay, they Loose Juice. Look it up. Who's That Chick by David Guetta and Rihanna.
Rihanna. Yep. I
All right.
love Rihanna too.
Okay, what is one thing most people may not know about you?
I have an electric guitar, but I haven't made videos of me playing or anything yet because I'm still new to it. So hopefully I can practice a little more and then I'll show you guys my other talent.
Excellent. Looking forward to those videos. So Juice says he rides a Harley, so his favorite riding song is "Thunder Kiss of '65" by White Zombie.
I'll have to look up that song.
There are those songs. Speaking of White Zombie, that when they come on, all of a sudden you squeeze the throttle harder.
Oh
Drag
my gosh, so
Dragula.
true.
Dragula is one. If Dragula comes on, I better have the cruise control set, or I'm gonna squeeze it. I'm about to tear through the ditches and burn through some witches because I'm about to go.
I
Hell
like
yeah.
that term. That's hilarious. I'm gonna have to look up these songs after.
Dragula is that's a song that will make you excited. Absolutely.
I should add these to my playlist too, so then I'll think of you guys on my next ride.
So we have actually the weirdos. We actually have a playlist on Spotify.
Oh,
So I
let me
will
check
send
it
you
out.
I will send you that link. I'll send you that link on Instagram because it's a
Okay.
very. Do you have Spotify?
I don't have Spotify, but I can get it for sure.
Okay, but yeah, we have and we all add songs to it as we go. Some of them you love, some of them you might not, but they're all about living life and living dangerously and driving fast. And there's one that's very low key. It's it's I won't I won't ruin it for you. I'll send you that song in a link in Spotify and you can listen to it. It's a cool love song about motorcycles and living dangerously. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
All right.
I love that.
If you could buy any bike, right? We've probably haven't covered this, but if you could buy any bike right now, you had to own it for the rest of your life. You wouldn't have to ride it every day, but you have to own it for the
Uh
rest of
huh.
your life. What would it be?
Oh my gosh, I love this bike, but it's only available in the UK. It's the ZX10 double R, and I want the pink and purple colorway. It's their 40th like anniversary bike, and they have like three colorways, but I love the pink and purple one. You guys should look it up. It's a beautiful bike, but it's only available in the UK apparently.
Juice said he's playing Who's That Chick now. He says he digs it.
Hey, I love that.
I
I love
think
how he listened to it right away.
I think that is weird in other countries because I follow a lot of British motor vloggers, and if they test drive motorcycles, and I'm like, oh, that's a really cool motorcycle. And you can't get it here. It's not because of
Yeah.
emissions. It's not because of anything else, except they just don't make it here. They like to keep things separate where they can say, haha, we have it, you don't. But America actually has more than they do. So it's really weird.
I love like those bikes, and I'm just like, why is it only sold in the UK? Why are they not sharing it with us?
Yeah, it's there's some weird stuff because I've seen BMW stuff sometimes that I'm like, oh, that's cool. I hope that gets here. And they don't. Even Harley would do that. So Harley used to make in India smaller motorcycles.
Hmm.
And that's how people are looking at all the small motorcycles that Harley is fixing to make that they're going to have made in China. And they're like, oh my God, why is Harley making small motorcycles? Well, they did it all the time overseas. Ford does the same thing. They make smaller cars
Mm.
just for overseas. And every once in a while, they'll bring one over here. I don't know if anybody remembers that Chevy and Ford both did it. They made three-cylinder cars back in the 90s.
I don't
And
remember that, but wow.
they started bringing them over.
Why don't they bring more here, right?
Because well, I hate to say it, but the petroleum industry runs everything. You ever heard of the Geo? Geo used to be its own
No.
company. It was a branch of Chevy, and they made three-cylinder cars. And they brought them. They
Wow.
started bringing them over in the 90s, and they got really popular. And Geo kind of got sucked into Chevy. So they had the Geo Metro, the Geo Tracker. There was another Geo, but they were just little tiny little bitty cars. Look it up. Google the Geo Metro. That car is like the size of a small bed, like a twin size bed. It was tiny.
Oh my gosh. I'll have to look it up right after this.
Yep. You probably never heard of the Yugo either, have you?
No.
The Yugo was a really small car. It was a very shitty car. It was made in Yugoslavia, and it was the only car they made. And but it was a little, it was a tiny, tiny little car. And they started bringing them over here, and they were popular because college kids. You could buy Yugo in the 90s
Mm.
for like $5,000. That's back when
Wow,
regular
so
cars back then were
affordable.
10, $12,000, a regular size sedan. You could buy Yugo for $5,000. So people loved them. College kids loved them because they were really small cars. You could drive all over the place. You got like 80 miles to the gallon. So they were fantastic cars.
When I was in college, I wanted those smart cars, those super tiny, squarish
Mm-hmm.
looking cars. I wanted one of those because they were affordable and all of that too. So I feel like it would be a big hit in America.
Yeah, they need to do that again. I think we just got really spoiled on big cars. It's funny. You'll see some Harley guy on a Harley that's basically it's smaller than a car, and then he gets out of his Harley, gets in a giant pickup truck. There's no in between. There's no medium. It's like
Yeah,
huge truck or big fat loud Harley.
it's true.
All right, we got any other questions in the comments? We're rolling along here. The Honda Hornet from the UK. Yeah, that's another one that they have there. But we had a Hornet here. We had a 919 Hornet, but it was not the same one that they had in the UK. The Hornet there and the Hornet here was entirely different bikes.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Maybe
Yeah,
I
that
should
was
move to the UK just to get that one motorcycle and then come back after.
Josh Harris just reminded me the joke about Yugos was you go, but it don't, because they were always broken down.
Oh,
They were very badly put together.
that's not good, Dad.
And yep, the window handles, because I had a friend who would store. He had a Yugo, and he would buy any part he could find because the starter was always going out, the handles were always breaking off the
Oh.
window, the window cranks were always breaking, um, the center console was always cracking. They were really crappy cars, but I mean people loved them because they were cheap. It was still
Just
cheaper
because
to
they're
repair one than it was
affordable.
to buy a new car. Anyway, all right. What bike would you want to ride just once, knowing you could never afford it or ride it again? And by that, I mean kind of like Matt's bike. You want to ride it, you know it will probably kill you, or it's so expensive you can't afford it, but you still want to ride it just one time.
I think that the Kawasaki H2, it just seems like a cool bike, but I can't picture myself like riding that like on a daily basis or anything like that. Just seems like a cool fast bike.
Yeah, there was a bike somebody was telling me about that it was like the throttle was so touchy that they'd be riding it and all of a sudden they'd go to accelerate and it'd flip the bike. The bike would flip up. It's really itself.
My goodness.
And I rode a bike like that. So the original 750 Widowmaker, the Kawasaki, I went to test drive one and I went with a friend and I got on it and it just scared the shit out of me. and I actually rode it through a ditch and it went over a fence with it. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, no, I'm done.
Oh my
And my friend was like, I
god.
want to ride it, and I'm like, dude, it's gonna kill you because I want it. And the guy's like, if he wants it, buy a new mirror for him, and he can have it. And so he bought it and I did, and I'm like,
Wow.
you're gonna kill yourself on this. And he wrecked it probably 3 months after that, and he restored it, and he fixed it again, but the bike wanted to kill you, and it did not even apologize for it. It wanted to hurt you very badly.
Wow. That
But
was called the Widowmaker, you said?
yep, they called it
I have
the
to look that
original. Yeah,
up.
the original H2 it was a 750. It was called the Widowmaker. It was his nickname,
Wow.
but it was the original. The 750 was the H2. But yeah, it was a bad bike. That bike was shorter than it was high. It was like it was really high, and the wheelbase was really short, and it was for racing. So
Mm-hmm.
it was high and short to take corners really quickly. Um, but yeah, it was just a deadly bike.
Too scary for me too.
I don't think we have any more questions, do we? The Honda car that came with a 50cc Moto Compo. I do not remember. I do not remember. All right, let's see. Our next question. What is your toxic trait? And by toxic trait, I mean something that you do all the time and you think it's okay, but may just drive other people crazy.
Toxic trait. Hmm. You got me there. I used to be like super like perfectionist type of personality, but over the years I've gotten better, honestly. But I used to be super like try to be like always perfect all the time and always try to make everything perfect too, and that probably makes other people around me before go crazy too. But I've gotten better over the years because like I remember even with riding I was like, oh my God, I have to have a perfect ride, like not stall, not drop the bike, not do this, not do that. But now that I've been riding for a while, I realize that you'll never have a perfect bike ride. You'll never have a perfect anything, in life. So I've gone to grow and let go of that a bit. But I think that was one of my toxic traits for sure. I would be such a perfectionist.
I think when you grow, I don't think it ever changes. I think you just, because there's like things that I want to be really perfectionist about. And there's some things I'm like, big deal. So I think
Yeah.
you just trade off certain things you want perfect, and then once you realize you don't have to be perfect, you move to something else. It's
Yeah.
almost like you're a serial perfectionist. But so Chasing Ghost says me and her both put a 750 Kawasaki through a fence.
Oh
So
wow.
I still want to interview her one day. She's got a very interesting story to tell. But I'll
I'd
get
love
her
to
in.
hear it too.
She's got a very interesting story. She makes really cool. She makes what we call talking head videos. She'll go for a ride on the motorcycle and she'll talk
Mm-hmm.
and she'll like it's almost like listening to therapy. It's very therapeutic. No, I'm serious. It's very therapeutic. And she'll just chat through the video, and it's so calming and it's very relaxing and it's fun. It's just fun. It's just fun to listen to your videos. I
I
love your
love that. I'll
videos.
have to check her out too.
I'm a rider, operator, but am I still willing to be a pillion? It's very hard. So I don't know if he's in the chat, but Dave Howard at the last camp out. So I left. I came home from work on a Tuesday. I tried to take a nap because I was going to leave at like 7 or 8 o'clock that night, and I couldn't sleep. So I'm like, I'll just get up and I'll ride through the night. So I got up at 7 and I rode all night into the morning, and I was taking longer breaks. Like I said, it's a 12-hour trip, but I broke it up. And so normally if I'm driving in the daytime, I'll stop, take a 10-minute break, get something to drink, put gas in the bike, and take off again. Well, during night, since I was tired, I take longer breaks. I'd go ahead and drink a full cup of coffee, and then I'd go to the bathroom, and then I'd get a little soda or a tea to take me, and then I'd take off again. So it actually took me like 16 hours to get there because I was taking really long breaks. Once I got there, I was dead. I was awake but now the sun was up. So I got there like noon. So I was just kind of hanging around, sitting. Well, then Dwight Smokums came out. He's like, "Hey, we're gonna go stuff some butts for the roast for the barbecue." And I'm like, "Dude, I can't ride over there right now. I can't go." So Dave's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Well, just get on the back of my bike." And I'm like, "Oh, no." But I'm like, so I don't know. It's not that it's a stigma. There's just something funny about it. On a motorcycle specifically, I just like to stay in control.
Hmm.
And I trusted David. Dave's a great rider, man. He has awesome freaking bike. But he's got a great, cool little Dyna, his gorgeous bike. But I was just like, I don't want to be on the back of a bike. If I'm on a bike, I want to be on the front. And that's just how I am.
I've been feeling like that too lately. Since I've been riding for almost 2 years now. Like in the beginning, I was like, oh, I love to like backpack and stuff like that. But now that like I'm more confident in my riding, I love riding myself too. I've like had other people like offer me like, oh, do you want to go on the back? And I'm just like, not too much actually.
So
But in the beginning, I would like to.
I'm picking up Red Rider when I come in, and I'm going to give her a ride on the back of my bike to go pick up her own bike. So that's probably the only reason she's going to ride on the back is because I'm taking her through another motorcycle. So yeah, it's hard as a motorcyclist to get on the back of somebody else's bike because it's different.
Yeah,
It's different than being in a car. It's hard enough being in a car and letting someone else drive, but on a motorcycle, no, just no, no
it's a
nuts to
way
butts,
different
Matt.
feeling.
Could I do it? Sure. Yeah, but just I don't know. There's something about it.
It's like we just prefer riding ourselves now at this point.
Yeah, it's a different thing, and
Hmm.
it's one of those things that everybody knows this. You can't explain it. You just know it.
Yeah.
So, um, what is the one thing that you will never take a road trip without? If you're gonna get on that bike, this is gonna be
Ooh.
with you.
I always bring the tire inflator to so make sure my tires are always full and stuff like that because that's like one thing that I'm always like worried about when I'm riding and stuff. I'm like, oh, am I losing air and stuff like that? That's what I always bring with me for sure in my tank bag.
Hmm. No, they
What
said
about
that
you?
if I get in the bike, I'm gonna have my toolkit and
Uh-huh.
a plugging kit for the tire because what it'd say, once burnt, once bitten, twice shy. And I've been lucky, and it's one of those things that's insurance. If you have it,
Hmm.
again, what are the two things most motorcycle riders are scared to death of? Is running out of gas and getting a flat.
Hmm.
So I
Yep.
think that's probably the next thing I'll have to get is a little gas jug. But on the BMW, it's got a 7 gallon tank. I know way
Oh
in
right.
advance that I'm going to run out of gas on that thing. But on Harley,
That's good.
I mean, it had a 3 gallon tank. I put a 5 gallon on it, but still, that thing just it goes through a lot more gas than the BMW. So when I start taking long trips on it, I'm going to have to get one of the little gas bottles. I'm just going to have to.
There was like a couple times with the dirt bike that I had to put it in the reserves and stuff and then ride it real quickly to the closest gas station and fill it back up because it doesn't have a gauge thing like to tell me like how much gas I had left in there.
Yeah.
So I had to use the reserves a couple times.
Well, yeah, bikes in the old days used to have a reserve, and you'd be riding along and go, "Brr, brr, brr, brr. Oh, let me switch it over."
Yeah,
And there's
yeah.
been, I had, well, my Sabre, I went putting one time. I was like, "Oh, let me switch it over to reserve." And I went to spin it, and it was already spun. And I was like, "Oh, that's the end of this ride." And I had
Uh-oh.
some guy came along in a tow truck, and I was like, "Hey, man, I need to get some gas." He's no problem. I'll run you some gas. And I was
Aw.
actually coming back from drill. I was in a military uniform. So the guy was like, "No charge, man. I'll get you some gas. Don't worry about it."
Aw.
So it was very cool. People are cool sometimes.
People are nice.
So I've got a question for you, and I got more after
Hmm.
this. But so we started this tradition at the camp out that we wear a onesie to go to a breakfast ride. If you were
Uh-huh.
going to get a onesie and take a ride, what would you wear? What would your onesie be?
I used to have a unicorn onesie, and it even had the horn and stuff. I would totally wear that if I could find it still, but I don't know where it's at, so I would have to buy another one.
I just got a brown bunny one for the last one. On the last camp out, I wore a brown bunny, and my wife had the pink bunny. It
I
was
think I saw it in the video, and
it
you
was
were like,
fun.
the people that don't have it are wishing they have onesie right now.
Oh yeah, it was funny, but because we asked people, and they're like, no, it's fine. But then we started right out all our group. There were probably what was it, Juice? I think there were like 10 or 12 of us. And as we were riding out, you could tell people's faces. They were like, "Oh, I wish I would have done that." And now this
Oh.
time, people are like, "Oh, I'm bringing a onesie this time. I'm bringing a onesie." but it was funny to watch people's faces, like we were all turning in onto the road, and we had blockers. Our blockers were out, so we had a red panda, and I can't remember what. I think Sydney was wearing a cat. So the panda and
Oh,
the
I
cat
love
were
that.
blocking for us, and we were all riding. And you could tell people's faces. Everybody was laughing. Everybody was trying to get their cameras out, take pictures real quick. They enjoyed it as much as we did because it was really fun.
Yeah.
But
I love that. I love that part in your video. It looks really fun.
it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I actually lost a
I
lot
love
of
dressing
footage.
up.
I love
Yeah,
dressing up for any
I
reason.
saw that clip. You had that like screen for that part where you missed and
Yeah,
you were just like, ah.
I did. I lost. It was crazy.
That was good. That was good.
So Angel Face is asking again, do you believe in ad get? You already said yes. You wear as much gear as you can safely wear.
Yeah.
So
Yes, definitely. I always advocate for, wearing gear.
all right. I may or may not have gave you this question. I don't know which ones I gave you, but what is your favorite TV or movie motorcycle?
I don't watch too much TV and stuff, but one of the most epic things I've seen on TV is in WWE when The Undertaker would enter with his motorcycle around the ring. I was always a WWE fan, like growing up and stuff. I love that entrance. That's just like the most iconic entrance ever. Him just on like I think it's a Harley every time he comes out and he's just going around the ring and then he like revs it a bit and then goes up on the wrestling mat. I just love that. It's
I,
just so iconic.
I don't know if you're old enough to remember any of the original Judas Priest. When he would come out in concert, sometimes Rob Halford would ride a motorcycle out on stage, a big chromed out shiny Harley. And it was just
Wow.
so awesome. But yeah,
I
it
have to look
was
that up.
yeah, here's the funny thing about Rob Halford. So back when all the Leather Daddy stuff first started, that's what made Rob Halford is what made wearing all this leather in these leather cultures popular. Well, the only reason he had leather on in his concerts because he loved an alternate lifestyle. He would go to these gay clubs and he would dress up in leather.
Oh.
He'd go to these S&M clubs and he would leave the club just in time to get back to the concert. He'd come out on stage with all this leather and chains and stuff. People were like, oh, that is so cool. And just a little bit of backstory on it. It was just it's one of those things. If you know it, it's very cool. But
That's hilarious. I
that's
didn't
but
know
yeah,
that.
that's how the Let the Daddy thing started. So and
I need to get me some leather gear.
everybody has leather, whether they show it in public or not. Everybody has leather gear.
That's hilarious. That's a fun fact.
Yeah, and there's no such thing as assless chaps because all chaps are assless. They're just chaps. All right. Last question that I have, and then you can start asking me questions. Um, who would you like to ride with, alive or dead? What's one person you would like to ride motorcycles with?
I love Lana Del Rey. If you can see from my channel, like I have so many songs that I sing from her. I would love to ride with her. I don't know if she knows how to ride or not, but I
She
would love to
does.
ride with her.
She
I would
does.
so love to.
The video ride, the long version of it, is one of my favorite things to
Yeah.
watch when I just feel like, that's my deep winter video when I haven't ridden in probably, a couple of days. And I'm like, I want to go, I'm going to watch that video because it's just so comforting to ride.
I love it.
Yeah, I love that video. It's absolutely nuts.
It's so fun when they're at the bonfire and stuff and they're just like riding over the campfire and stuff. I was like, whoa.
I keep
They're
thinking,
they're fun. That was
I
a
keep
fun
thinking that
video.
must not be their bike. That nobody would ride it unless,
Yeah.
or they were really drunk, one or the other. I would never ride my bike through a fire
Yeah.
like that.
I think it's just definitely for the, cinematic effect.
It is,
They
and
were
I would
doing
probably,
it.
I would ride the BMW through a fire like that. The Harley maybe, it's already blacked out. You couldn't tell the difference. Again, Angel has a question. She says, "How do you stay cool while riding in Vegas?"
Ooh, I just try to wear thinner layers, still wear the, qualified gear and stuff, but like just like I was saying earlier, like the mesh jacket instead of like a full on like layer jacket and the thinner riding jeans instead of my, snow pant looking like I'm ready to go like camping outside type of material pants. I'm trying to wear thinner materials, but still motorcycle safe clothing?
I have a cool collar that I have that actually has, it's like, it has beads in it. And when you soak them in water, they swell up. And when it's really,
Mm.
really hot, I'll wear that. And then I'll also have, so you know the big long sleeves that you put on to cover your arms? I'll put those on my
Mm-hmm.
wrists and then I'll pour water on them because they hold water for a pretty good while. Or I'll put
Oh.
bandanas around my wrists and soak those down. And that'll keep you that. And then when you're riding,
Oh.
it blows across them and cool. Have you seen any of the videos where guys will stop and get like a 3 pound bag of ice and put it up on the handlebars? And they'll
Yes,
poke
I
little holes
saw
in it, and as they're
that.
riding, it like sprinkles them as they ride. I haven't done
I
that,
saw
but
that last year.
that might be a thing.
That was like all over on TikTok videos last year. I saw so many guys doing that, and I was like, is this good?
Yeah, that's definitely, if I was going to take a ride through the desert, yeah, I would absolutely have to try it because,
I'm gonna
our,
try your trick with the sleeves and stuff and
yeah,
like have them wet. I'm gonna
yeah,
try that.
it actually helps you evaporate. It keeps you very cool. And once you put it on there, the funny thing, so like in the crooks of your arms and on your wrist, you have all the veins. If you can
Hmm.
keep water on those to help them evaporate, your whole body will start kind of getting really chilly, and it's actually kind of neat. Um, Angel says she squirts herself with a garden hose. I'll put any if when I get hot enough, I'm putting water on me. I don't care. I'm pouring it on my legs. I'm
Yeah,
pouring it down my back.
I always
So
like rub it on myself.
well, last year Shay, anybody that watches the Shay videos and Josh, she got way overheated, and he just started pouring water on her, and she's like, "No, stop that! Don't do that! Don't do that!" And then the next stop, she's like, "Pour water on me again." Because once you realize it works, it's like, yeah, do it. This again. Once you do something, you know it works. Once you do something, you know you live through it. Do it again because I know the results.
Yeah. It's so true because I remember when I first tried that trick, like putting water on myself on the at the stops. I was like, I don't know if I want my clothes to be all wet and stuff. But then I was like, oh my gosh, it feels so much better and it just dries up so quick in the desert heat.
So I had a fisherman fly shirt that's actually like a sun blocking shirt. And when I wore it to Texas, I left here. It was about 85 degrees. Halfway through Louisiana, it was like 124 degrees. And the sun was burning so hot that the shirt where it was wrinkled, where like there were wrinkles in the shirt, it actually bleached it on top, and it's darker under the bottom. So when I wear that shirt now, it looks like a zebra shirt because it's like striped all the way. And where there was a fold, it stayed dark, and the top started almost burnt white. Must have been a solar flare that day
Wow.
or something, but you get the burns across your wrist, like where your glove stops here and the shirt starts there. That's when I started wearing the bandanas around my wrists and the sleeves because yeah, once you learn something works, you'll do it. No matter how dumb it looks, you don't care how dumb it looks. You want to be comfortable and you want to survive the
Yeah.
ride.
Yeah. All I care for on the rides mostly is comfort and like that it's functioning, functional stuff. Uh, It's just it just makes you feel better on the ride and stuff and you're not like constantly having to stop all the time.
Yeah. Angel Face is asking why her two wheels isn't here because she doesn't watch my channel.
Oh
I know her. I know her, and she actually helped me put my tent up at the last
wow.
camp out before last. She actually helped me put my tent up. But yeah, she goes to every March camp out, so she might be there this March. But yeah, she's again, even me. I've got when I first started, I had maybe 10 or 20 friends that did motor vlogs, so I'd watch all their
Mhm.
videos. And anybody that follows me, I follow them back. So now I can't
Mhm.
watch everybody's videos. I'm basically down to 5 people that will watch religiously, and then the other people, I'll basically just purge watch their videos. I'll go through like 5 or 10 videos at once. And then once I notice I haven't watched them in a while, I'll go to somebody else's videos and watch 5 or 10 at once. So it's hard to watch everybody you know's videos, even if you're really good friends. You just can't
Mhm.
watch them all.
There's so much content
Yes.
nowadays. It's hard to keep up with everybody, but I always try to do like what you do too.
Yeah. It's the difference in being in a small school and knowing everybody and talking to everybody every day, and then going to a school where you have 1,900 people in your class. You can't talk to them all. You may like them all, you all
Yeah.
get along, you're all friends, but you just can't talk to every one of them every day.
Mhm.
So it
Just
just
wish there
doesn't
was more
happen.
time in the day, right? So we can catch up with everybody.
The funny thing about the first time I met Hershey Wheels, I walked up to her, and again, first time I went to Forgotten Angels, it was like, have you ever watched the original Willy Wonka movie, Charlie and the Chocolate
Yeah.
Factory?
Mhm.
where the kid gets into the TV and the camera sucks him in. He goes, "Oh, there's Cowboy Bob. There's Indian Joe." I was like that at the first camp out. I was like, "Oh my God, there's Hercule Wheels. There's Shade Tree Surgeon. There's Weems." And all of a sudden they started walking up to me and talking to me. And I'm like, so when I went up to talk to Jess, she goes, I go, "Hey, I was wanting to know, I do YouTube too. It's a really small channel, but I watch your videos and I really love your videos."
Mhm.
And she goes, "Oh, what's your channel?" And I said, "It's Rainy Rider." And she goes, "You're that guy that rode in the snowstorm." And I go, "Yeah, that was me." And she goes, "And you rode through that flood too. Oh my God, that was crazy." And I go, because she had just in one of her videos said, "Yeah, I don't watch other YouTubers because I don't want it to corrupt my style." And I said, "I thought you
Mm.
said you don't watch other people's videos." And she goes, "Well, I watch people's videos that are not like mine. So you do something I did totally different than what I do. So, I thought that was cool." And plus, it
I
was,
love that.
it was a video from one night that I had gone to work and it went from 40 degrees down to like 25 degrees while I was at work and it snowed 6 inches while I was at work.
Whoa.
So when I went to leave work, I'm like, it's all fresh fallen snow, and everybody's like, "Oh, cool, we'll put your bike in the back of my truck, and we'll take it to your house." And I'm like, "How are we going to get it in the back of the truck?" Is, "Well, we'll just go to the loading dock and we'll drive it on there." And I was like, "Yeah, but how are we going to get it out? This is a 950-pound motorcycle." I'm like, "How are we going to get it off the truck?" Is, "I don't know, man. We'll figure out a way." And I'm like, "No, I'm just going to ride home." And I made the video, and it was a it still remains one of my more popular videos. And I made it on a fluke. And again, I made the video just to prove that I did it, and it's one of my more
Wow.
popular videos. So it's just weird sometimes which of your videos become popular and
Mhm.
everybody sees them. Like so nothing at random. His most popular video was him putting up a tent, and it got crazy popular. He bought a tent like mine, and that's one of my more popular videos still. I mean, I can look through my last 25
Wow.
video, my top 10 videos for the month. That one's always on there. Me putting up that Lone Rider video, or it's the Lone Rider. It's called the Wolfwalker tent. It's a Lone Rider clone, but it's like a third of the price, and it's actually a bigger tent. It just looks like it.
Ooh.
And people will go Google it and they'll find that video and they watch it to see because again, you've got this one tent that's $600, and then you have the Wolfwalker tent that's like 120. And so people
So
are like,
affordable.
"Well, let's find some videos on it." And that's the cool thing about YouTube. You can find anything on YouTube. So if you want to research something, just type it in. You can find it. So
Yeah.
yeah, you never know what's going to get popular. It's insane.
I love that. I have to check out your video of you riding through the snow. That sounds
I'll
crazy.
send you a link. I got a lot of links to send you. If I forget, just send.
Yeah.
You didn't have to send me this link yet. Click, 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 click. So yeah, I got a lot of shit to send you. Well, do you have any questions for me?
Mm. Oh, I want to know, who would you ride with? Um, Past or present or future?
Gosh, that
Who's
changes
alive or dead too? I
yeah,
want to know that.
that changes every time I think about it because I don't want to ride with somebody that's popular. I don't want to ride with somebody that's fast or crazy. I want to ride with somebody that loves riding just as much as I do.
Mhm.
So obviously, I've been watching the Norman Reedus stuff lately, and I love that. Charlie Borman, Ewan McGregor. I want to ride with people that enjoy the ride, not that want to get out there and do 180 miles an hour road. Because I'm not going to stay up with them. I want to ride with
Yeah.
people that are just as crazy about riding as I am. They want to see things and stop and take
Mhm.
pictures and then ride some more because that's what makes it special for me. So I would say right now, probably Norman Reedus because that's where I'm at. So
I relate to you too, though. I don't like to ride like crazy or, do illegal stuff on the road. I just like to, cruise at my rate, go see the scenery, take the pictures,
take the
videos and
pictures.
stuff,
By the bike, take the pictures.
embrace the moment and stuff.
Yep.
I don't like to be rushing everywhere and stuff like that. I really like to be present and soak in the nature.
Uh, Random says that his video for the Wolfwalker tent now is up to 14,000 views. And
Wow.
yeah,
Congratulations.
it's crazy. Even now, if I put out a video, a long form, and it gets over, 300 views, I'm like, "Oh, great, it got 300 views." But then I've got, videos of me changing my oil that, if and I know you've seen. So on YouTube, it'll tell you how long you kept people's attention. So usually I'll keep people's attention for the average is like 5 to 10 minutes. On these oil change videos, on the tent video, it's like 97%. They watch it from beginning to
Wow.
end, and it's insane. So, but yeah, you never know what people are gonna like. It's
It's
crazy.
true. I have a video on my channel and it's like a cooking recipe. Like I was making like a banana granola bowl thing, banana bowl thing. And that video got like 30,000 views and I was like, "Whoa." But my other videos they don't reach that high. So you just never know what's going to, attract the audience and stuff.
Yeah, I made a short on cooking. I think it was the apple baby. That's why I decided to make a long form video of the apple baby because I made a short and it got 20,000 views. So I made a longer one.
Wow.
Again, you never know what people. And I could make another one just like it. It might get 20 views, 30 views. You just never
Uh-huh.
know what's going to take off. And then sometimes
That's
I'll
the
make
fun
it.
part.
Yeah, sometimes I'll make a video and it won't get 10 views a whole day. And then the next day, it's gone. It just takes off. Like 3 days later, all of a sudden it's got, 5,000 views. You never know. You just never know.
It's fun. It's fun to create and then just see like what's
See you later, T-Bone.
attracting the people and stuff.
Yeah, it's nuts. So what is your favorite video that you ever made?
Ooh, favorite video for me. I think although it's a short video, the video that I have on my trailer, my motorcycle montage video, where I got a lot of clips from all different rides like that I've been on, I think that's one of my favorite videos that I've made because it's such a short video, but there's so many memories in that video
Yep,
because I've
yep.
got different clips from different days and stuff. Since I started riding, I added them in there. I just love that video a lot because there's a lot of good memories in that video for sure.
I actually like that. So that's your lead-in video when you first get on. That's the one that plays. Yes, I like that video.
Yeah,
I do
the
like that
little
video.
trailer video. What about you? What's your favorite video you made?
Uh, my favorite video that I got to edit probably was the writing down to Forgotten Angels this last time because I love writing at
Oh,
night, and when I edited it, I was just kind of talking from my heart, and it was like I had so much fun writing down and talking and seeing things at night, and it was just really fun. So that was probably my favorite one. There have been videos that I've made and I laughed all the way through because I cracked little jokes in it. Like the gumbo video was fun to make because I was
yeah.
laughing the whole time I was putting it together. So yeah, it's just fun sometimes.
You did a great job with your Forgotten Angels series, but also that gumbo one, I was cracking up too because you're like, oh, I can't tell you guys which one is mine, but
You should try
you're
that
always
one.
like,
Yeah.
and then I was like cracking up. Yeah, you're like, oh, you should try that one. It has more meat.
Yeah. It was fun. Angel Face is asking, does something have to go wrong to have a true adventure? Um, no, but I think when something goes wrong, it makes you remember it more.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
if you could get on the bike and ride 100 miles and get off and nothing happened, you're probably not going to remember that trip. If you nearly get hit by a bird, catch a bee in the face, have a flat, you know, run out of gas, you're going to remember that trip. So it may not make it more adventurous, but it will make it more memorable.
That's
So
for sure. You always remember the crazy rides where you have like a crazy experience and stuff like that. Just like me when I fell off the bikes a couple times, I always remember those stories.
it's weird sometimes to edit a video and remember something that happened that you forgot. You're like, oh, I forgot that happened. So
there was one time recently I was at the gas station and then a little tiny bee just started flying around my motorcycle. It was so cute. I loved it. I was so happy I got it on my Insta.
that's what makes them memorable. I have not watched Sexy Girl in the Bathtub, but I will probably be honest with you. I have a lot of friends who do side work, and I don't watch their videos like that because it's like, okay, these are my friends. I don't want to see them like this. So
I have some that were like that too.
Didn't see them.
But I don't watch it either. I don't
No.
watch it either.
So say,
That's hilarious that we
oh
even
yeah.
have to say that.
Yeah, Aaron is saying, also remembering, or a cell in your battery going bad and having to bump start your bike every time you stop for gas. Yeah. So we went to a lake camp out trip last Easter, and when Aaron got there, he had a bad battery. Well, once he got there, the bike wouldn't start anymore, and so
Oh
then he had to
wow.
go all the way back from Tennessee back up to Ohio, and then I think who went with him? So Yankee was with him, and I think Dave Howard was with him, and they kept having to help him bump start the bike, and he never bump started a bike before, so he didn't know how to do it. So they were probably getting aggravated with him, but it was again that's what makes the trip memorable, and you laugh at it. For here it is a year later, and we're still laughing about that trip because they kept having to help him bump start his bike. So I'd say
Yeah.
yeah, maybe if things go bad, you do remember them better.
And it teaches you some new stuff too, usually, when it's like a challenging day.
Yes, yes. I always just say so. If there's something I learn, and it's like, hey, this is a real cool thing to know in case I ever break down. It's literally like the next day that I have to use it. So it's weird how your life gets planned for you. All right. Does anybody have any more questions? I don't want to keep you all night. I know you've got. I was actually waiting for your nephew to run in because again,
Oh,
I
I
so I,
actually locked the door so my little cousins don't come in.
well, we were talking about this earlier. Whenever I interview somebody, I've interviewed people where their dogs ran into the room, their cats ran into the room, kids are running around the background, and again, that's something else that makes it memorable because again, that's that raw side. So the
It
lady that I was
is.
interviewing last week, she had just bought a puppy and it had a little chew toy, and while I'm interviewing her, it's chewing on the squeaky toy, and it kept squeaking, and she's like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "But this is gold. This is gold. You can't
I
script
have to
this.
watch that one.
Yeah, you can't script this stuff." All right, we're going to go ahead and close. So, do you have any closing comments? What would you like everyone to know?
um, I just want to say thank you everyone who watched and thank you for supporting us in our channels. And I hope you guys all have safe rides, whoever does ride and whoever's thinking about riding. I hope you guys join us too. And just remember to stay safe, always wear your gear, and just be grateful for every day that we get to live. We're so blessed to have this opportunity and freedom, and I just hope you guys have a great 2024. And I'm wishing you guys all the best.
So, what are all your socials?
Oh, my social media, you can find me Jasmine Ty on YouTube, and on Instagram, TikTok, you can find me as Jasmine X Ty with
All
an
right,
X.
for the next. X.
I
All right. And for me, as always, if you can be anything, be kind. And again, I think what we keep talking about in this video is live the adventure. You'll
Yeah.
never regret doing the trip. You'll never regret doing the thing, no matter how painful it seems or how scary it is. Just do it because you'll love it later. All right, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. You guys, yeah, comment down in the chats. Everybody comment where you're from down in the comments below because Angel Face Motor Rider wants to visit people, I guess.
I love that.
I love knowing where people are. What's funny is I know I just said goodbye, but I'm gonna keep talking. Since I started doing the YouTube, it's funny how many people
Mhm.
live like literally less than an hour from me, and I'm like,
Wow.
yeah. So all those years I rode by myself, I didn't do anything with anybody, and now I'm like literally I can drive to Nashville, and I've got 5 friends live around Nashville, and I can go down south. There's people that live down south. I can go to Tampa. There's people all over the place. And I actually learned when I went to my first camp out, there was a guy that lives like 30 minutes from me. But I met him in
Oh
Florida.
wow.
What's funny is of all the times we've been together and met for stuff, 6 of those times were at the camp out or at another camp out. Only one has actually been in Memphis where we live. Every other time has
It's
been
funny.
Yeah, every other time's either been in Tennessee once and then
Oh,
4 times, 5 times down in Tampa. So it's insane.
I hope we'll meet some more riders that are near us. If you guys are in Vegas, hit me up. Then we can ride together too.
Yeah, I still want to wait. We talked about the place I want to go. Again, you live there. You said you rode there before, but that's one
Yeah,
trip I want to make again. The Canyon of
we'll
Fire.
go together.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. All right, guys, we're really gonna go this time. I swear. Like, comment,
Thank you
subscribe, hit that
guys.
bell, and I'll see you next time. And oh yeah, and if you want to
Bye.
be interviewed, hit me up. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Thank you, Michael. You're awesome.
You're awesome.